Anna here. Today I'm reviewing Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne Collins. You probably heard of Suzanne Collins. She wrote The Hunger Games. But before she wrote The Hunger Games, she wrote this masterpiece. So this is the first in a series of 5 novels by this well-known author. And I must admit, I wrote my fair share of fan fiction after the series ended. I nearly sobbed my eyes out at the end of the 5th book. This could just be my personal taste. I've always wanted to fall into a Wonderland type adventure, which sadly hasn't quite happened yet, but never give up hope. I could always fall into a big hole like Alice. Anyway, so for this book, we start in sweltering summer in New York City. With an 11-year-old boy named Gregor, who is taking care of his little sister Boots, who is 2. Her name's not actually Boots, it's Margaret. I'm not quite sure why they call her Boots, I forget that bit. Anyway, she's called Boots, and Gregor has to spend the summer taking care of his sister while his mom is at work. His dad disappeared 2 and a bit years ago, so it's just him, his middle sister, who is off at camp right now, and his youngest sister, Boots. So he's taking care of Boots, lamenting how boring his summer is going to be. Oh, he's stuck in the house just with Boots all day, every day. That's so boring, right? I totally feel for this kid. So he half-heartedly decides to go and do some laundry. Whilst in the laundry room, Boots discovers this giant hole thing in behind one of the dryers. Of course, they both fall in to this hole, and end up in a whole other world. And this world, they call it the Underland, is full of strange creatures. It's full of, there's humans. They have a human civilization down there that they colonized. And yeah, so some things happen, and Gregor ends up basically starting a war against enemy rats. They're giant rats. So if you're squeamish, giant rats, giant spiders, giant cockroaches. If you're squeamish, maybe not for you. So it's a suitably fast-paced book. Classic tale of the underdog hero who just wants a normal life, but somehow finds himself written into these prophecies. There's prophecies being thrust upon him. He's got to go on quests. And I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars because while it is an incredible read and one of my favorites, the writing style is fairly nondescript, and there aren't many passages that really made me think, like, wow, Suzanne Collins can write. Like, the writing wasn't quite up to par, I thought. But for the story and the pacing and the ideas, I gave it 4 stars out of 5, which is pretty darn good. And I've got a little passage here that I'm just going to read you. This is the start of chapter 2. Blah, blah, blah. He felt scared enough for the both of them. Whatever strange hole they had slipped into, it must have a bottom. There was only one way that this spinning through space could end. Time was passing. Gregor couldn't tell exactly how much, but too much to make sense. Surely there was a limit to how deep a hole could be. At some point you'd have to run into water or rock or the Earth's platelets or something. So that's them falling through space to the Underland. And it's great. It's a great book. I love it. I love it. I'm a huge fan. I would recommend it to any kid who wants something a little bit fun, maybe a little bit where you feel like you can totally connect with the hero, because he's a very relatable guy, Gregor. Main guy, Gregor. So yeah, give it a read. Let me know how it goes.